Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Sports Talk for You. Shocker fans, just an update here. Tonight we have a special guest, Ron Bradley. We all know him from the Turgeon days, was a hell of a point guard for Wichita State. And also some big information. Wichita State will be playing 2 games this week. Of course, they have the game Wednesday night at Tulane, which is a trap game. And then Saturday they got a home game against South Florida. That game starts at noon. So again, no Temple. Temple's on COVID rest until tournament time. If they even play in the tournament, we'll have to find out about that. But we got 2 games. South Florida's not the best opponent, but hey, you get who you get, and that's the way the AAC rolls. And of course, Penny Hardaway with that gut-wrenching comment last night, talking about how Houston cried to get the home game. But here's my deal. If your team's the one having COVID issues, you can't do nothing about it. Don't cry about it.
Exactly. Yeah, definitely don't cry about it. And then we talked about this in our last video. We can only play the teams that are in front of us, or put in front of us. And Wichita State should not be penalized whatsoever. And I was talking to one of our coworkers today. Some of these other teams that have been having issues, they need to be penalized for it or forfeit. It's not Wichita State's fault that other teams are failing at their protocols.
Well, Taylor Eldridge put a stat up today. I think it was the teams with the most cancellations from the Power 7 conferences, and the AAC, I believe, had 7 of those teams on that list. Houston, Cincinnati, Wichita State, which none of those, well, I guess maybe one has been their fault. But, it's just there's nothing you can do. I mean, if other teams are breaking protocol and they're getting COVID, who knows? Maybe they're not breaking protocol and somehow they just pop up and get it. But it's not our fault. I mean, fans got to realize that. There's nothing we can do about it. Isaac Brown understands. He's telling the team, just roll with it, keep practicing. Our guys still get a practice. That's the main thing. Baylor didn't get a practice for 22 days, and look how bad they looked against Iowa State and Kansas. So the fact that our guys can still practice, that's a big thing.
Yes, and that's huge. At least you're playing some live action. Yes, you're playing against the, your same squad every day. I know that after a while, you get sick of each other playing, scrimmaging and playing against each other.
The only good thing about that, too, is that it gives time for Craig Porter. He's had 2 weeks to heal. At Bilal he's had that, I believe it's a knee injury, so he's had time to heal. So, I mean, the only good thing about this is guys that are injured, it gives them time to heal, because I know, I believe it's Monty. He's been battling that back injury, so hopefully he's been resting. So, yeah, there's some pros, but there's cons, but there's pros to it, too. So, but let's get, he's not on yet, but our special guest, Ron Bradley. Shocker fans, we all know who he is. I can't remember what years he played, but it was under Turgeon.
2005, 2006, the Sweet 16 season, and then 2006, 2007 season, where the Shockers started out undefeated and was ranked highest 8th in the country until, unfortunately, the bottom fell out.
Yeah. So, again, it's going to be nice to talk to him, especially about the aftershocks, the TBT, which didn't get canceled last year, but they decided to opt out because of the COVID issues up in, I believe it was Indianapolis. I can't remember, but they decided not to do that. So we're hoping that this year they will have a TBT, which with the way things are going, it looks pretty dang good that they'll have it. So, well,
man, I hope so.
Yeah,
I hope so. And Ron Bradley, freshman on the Marquette squad that made a decent little run in NCAA tournaments. I believe, I want to say the Final Four. Yes, it was the Final Four where they got defeated by Kansas.
Yeah.
And he was a freshman on that squad. His teammate on that squad was some guy named Dwayne Wade. He turned out okay. Fair enough. That was a team that was coached by Tom Crean at the time, and Marquette was 27-6, 14-2 Conference USA at the time. Made a nice little run, getting by Kentucky, getting by Pittsburgh, but just fell short against KU in the Louisiana Superdome or the Mercedes Dome, and
Yeah.
I believe that is the year KU did lose in the finals to Carmelo Anthony's Syracuse team.
Syracuse, yes. Didn't Carmelo score about 35 points in that game?
Something like that. I just remember there was a big time block.
Hakeem Warwick.
What's that?
Hakeem Warwick made
Yes.
that block.
Yes, because dude was – I can't remember who shot the ball for KU, but homeboy was wide open. All of a sudden, you see Hakeem Warwick out of nowhere come block that shot. It was amazing.
Wasn't Heinrich, was it?
No, I don't think it was Heinrich, no.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. That'd be a good video to go back and look at that year.
Right, exactly. I would tell you that Marquette team had NBA players, of course, Dwayne Wade, Travis Detner, and Steve Novak were noticeable that played in the next level in that Marquette team. So that was a pretty good Marquette team coached by Tom Crean that Cameron Bradley played for. Then, of course, he came to Wichita State under Mark Turgeon. Of course, he had to sell that transfer year and played his junior and senior season.
You think about it, that Sweet 16 team, we had two big transfers. We had Kayron Bradley and then Kyle Wilson, who transferred from a Bill Self, Illinois team, I believe.
Yes, that is true.
And then Illinois ended up going to the Final Four that year that Kyle Wilson transferred to Wichita State.
And that was under our favorite coach up in Manhattan, Bruce Weber.
That's right.
That was Bruce. Actually, Bill Self had just left.
Yeah,
and Bruce Weber just took over. I believe that Illinois team made a heck of a run. I think they may have lost only one or two games entering that tournament. And then
they lost one game, and they should have lost the Elite Eight game to Arizona. Because that's when they came back from being down 15 points with 4 minutes to go. And Lute Olson decided to play conservative ball instead of just going for the jugular and keep running with them. Yeah. I am still bitter about that day because I still feel like Bruce Weber sold his soul to get that one Final Four, under his belt. And ever since then, the guy's been one heck of a terrible coach.
Well,
it makes you wonder if he kissed his players that year.
No, you never know. I wouldn't doubt it.
Right. That was his first year at Illinois after, coming off some good runs with Southern Illinois, with Saluki Dogs.
Yep. No, and you know what? Bill Self, that was the first time I truly watched Bill Self was when he coached at Illinois. And when Olson retired, or, there was rumblings about it, I had wished that Arizona would go after Bill Self, but unfortunately, KU went after him. And I still remember to this day, KU fans saying they were not happy about that hire. But it wasn't until like 3 seasons after, he had coached at KU that everyone's like, oh, he's actually a good coach.
Yeah, and then his fourth season, he wins the national championship.
Yeah, I had several friends. Bill Self's first 3 or 4 years wanted him fired. I'm like, are you kidding me? He ran a different type of offense that Roy Williams ran. His offense was different. And, of course, he had to get his players in that could execute that offense that Bill Self ran. And it's been, as I said, the rest has been history. You got a national championship against your favorite coach, John Calipari, and that Derrick Rose Memphis squad. Hey, Derrick Rose, make a couple free throws and you win the national championship. I'm just saying.
Exactly. Aaron's having some technical difficulties, so hopefully we can get him on in a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to get him on. But yeah.
Well, here's a quick $1 million question for you guys. You think Sean Miller coached his last game at Arizona?
I knew
What's
this
that?
was coming.
You think Sean Miller coached his last game at Arizona?
Oh, good question. Right? That's a solid question. If
he's got 1 year left. Next year's his last year technically, but I don't know. It's so hard because, even some of the guys that I follow who are in the media and stuff for Arizona, they say he was kind of excited for next year's team because, granted, a lot of them will be coming back, for the first time in I don't know how long. But, there's also the FBI cloud and whatever, what have you, that makes us think, I think he might have coached his last game at Arizona. So,
Hey, you never know, man. Greg Marshall, he's ready.
I hear you.
He's sitting on that couch. He's waiting for job offers.
Hey, I wouldn't doubt it, man. I've been saying that for a while. If the Arizona job ever, came open, I wouldn't be shocked if they interviewed him at least or gave it to him. But
Right. Hey, Marshall can take over that Washington Huskies job. They're 5-20. He can coach his good buddy, Mr. Stevenson.
there you go.
I'm sure Eric Stevenson's dad would be happy if that would have come to fruition. Man,
yeah.
I'm so glad. I don't want to bash, foreign players, but his dad was awful. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
His dad.
And he was a hothead himself, man.
Can
I'm not a hothead guy, so I'll bash him for you.
Can we get to Teddy Allen real quick? Can this guy stay at any team for more than a year?
Yeah, that's rather unfortunate. A ton of talent, but with that talent comes a lot of unfortunate baggage. Not sure what was the report on why that he left this time around. Nebraska. So, he can probably play for the football team. Well, the football team sucks too now. But
hey, at least they offered to play Ohio State when all this COVID stuff was going on.
That's true. In fact, Frost even said, "Oh, we'll play anybody, anytime, anywhere, pretty much," because he was willing to hop conferences for 1 year.
That's
right, exactly.
Yep. So
terrible.
I can't dog Frost too much because, man, that's one heck of a rebuild he's got to do there in Nebraska. I've never seen a storied football program just be in the gutter. Like, I understand Arizona being in the gutter, but I mean, Nebraska, it's just like, come on, man. College football is not technically not the same without Nebraska. I'm just going to put it out there.
Took the words right out of my mouth on that. I was thinking the same thing. College basketball is better when certain teams are good, even the ones that we don't like Alabama.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, no,
I got to say, college basketball is great with Kentucky's record this year. I will say that.
Hey, I don't mind. I mean, it's like what you said, Armand. There are just some basketball programs, but you know what? I don't mind if some of those basketball programs go into the NIT for at least 1 year.
Right, and the NIT did announce they will have a 16-team field pared down to 32. And I told you guys my Final Four for the NIT is Duke, Kansas, Kentucky, and North Carolina. Final Four of the NIT. Mark my words.
Yeah, I'll give you. You know what, though? I'll go with an upset. I think Kentucky will get upset.
Like they did against Robert Morris in the NIT a few years back.
Hey, poor Kentucky won't be playing because they don't have a CBI this year.
No CBI, CIT. Those are the CarQuest New Orleans Bowl of college basketball. I'm like, oh my gosh.
And right now, Duke is on Lenardi's next 4 out. They shouldn't even be on there, to tell you the truth.
They shouldn't. I don't understand his liking to that team. That team's garbage. I mean, it's no disrespect to Coach K or anybody. It's just that team is just horrendous. They're not consistent. They lack an inside presence.
The net cracked me up because I forgot which team it was. I think it was a Big Ten team. Has 0 quadrant wins. They're quadrant 1 wins. They're like 0-5 in quadrant 1 wins, and because they're like 7-3 in quadrant 2, that's why their net ranking is high.
Is it Minnesota?
It might be Minnesota. I can't remember, but I just looked at that and I'm like,
record.
We're 2-2 in both quadrant 1 and quadrant 2, and we're still at 66.
Yeah,
figure
I think
that
Lenardi gets paid under the table to keep those big schools in, to keep the blue bloods in if can be,
out.
you know.
Looking at the current bracketology right now, this one's been updated in Region 3 because all the games will be in Indianapolis, Indiana. Wichita State, a 12th seed against our old friends, the Creighton Blue Jays, as a 5. Hey, I'll take a 12 seed because 12 seeds means 5 seeds just about every year. You
I
get at
believe,
least 1 or 2
I believe
every
the winner
year.
of that could have a chance to take on Arkansas.
Yes.
SEC team.
Or unless Belmont could do what Buckdale did to KU, pull off the upset. Then
Belmont's
again, I'll
known.
take my chances with Arkansas.
Belmont's
Shoot,
known to make their runs, man.
I guess
Yep.
he took KU off the deal because Wichita State would demolish KU in the tournament this year. Yes, I did say that, KU fans. We would demolish you guys, and I'm not afraid to say it or back it up. I don't give a poo what you think, because we will whip your ass. Because here's a stat for you. This is the reason why you don't want to play us in the regular season. Because the Shockers are 2-0 when it counts in the big tournament. 1981, my boy Mike Jones sinks the jumper. Zach Brown with the steal.
The dunk.
Steal and the dunk. And Shaq Morris looking over, Frank Mason or wherever the hell.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not forget Evan Wessel's 5 3-pointers when the guy was only shooting like 26% on the year.
Exactly.
Yep. No, I'm just not impressed with KU this year. I don't like their big men at all. And you know what? It's kind of shocking because KU was known for their big men. But you know what? Ever since Danny Manning took a job as a head coach, Bill Self cannot recruit big men. I mean, at all. And I haven't been thrilled with them, especially this year. And their guard play, is always hit or miss. So I'll take Wichita State over KU because of strictly the guard play, and sometimes including the NCAA tournament, if you don't have good guards, you're not going to go far in the NCAA tournament,
And
Exactly.
that has been the case for the last several thousand years of the NCAA tournament.
Mhm.
Wichita State had great guard play in 2013. Where did they go?
Final Four.
Mhm.
And let's go to
Exactly.
2000.
Yep.
I think it was 2016 or 17 when we got beat to Marshall. We lost that game because our guards got careless with the basketball.
Yeah.
Yes. And their
Yep.
guards were shooting 3-pointers from half court.
Yeah, and Austin Reeves was on that team, and he made that crucial turnover with about 2 minutes to go.
Mhm.
Yep.
Wichita
And you
State
think,
gave him a lot of crap for it.
right, and think about it, every team that's won, all the teams that are in the Final Four, KU had, who was it? Not Chauncey Billups.
Mario Chalmers.
Chalmers. Arizona in 97 had Bibby.
He turned out okay.
Exactly. And then on top of that, Arizona also in 2001 had Gilbert Arenas, Jason Gardner.
Connecticut.
Agent Zero, baby. Agent Zero for the Washington.
Agent Zero, exactly, man.
UConn had Kemba
I love
Walker.
Agent Zero. What's that?
UConn had Kemba Walker.
Correct. And then you guys have Fred Van Vliet, sorry, and Ron Baker, and then who is your forward?
Anthony Early, man.
Early. Yep.
And here's the thing about that squad, that Final Four squad. Quinn Early wasn't a starter for most of that season.
Nope.
Neither was Fred. And Ron Baker missed a good portion of that season because of a broken wrist. I think also Evan Wessel may have missed that year as well.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that team should have beaten Louisville. And I think you guys should have had a national championship.
Just to think that year, Shocks got beat to Indiana State. Who was the other one? Indiana State at home when they shot 26% that night.
Mm-hmm.
Got beat to Evansville on senior night because I still remember watching Carl's Hall 3 from the corner that went off the rim. And they got beat to another Valley team at home. And nobody even thought Wichita State would even get a bid until they made it to the championship game that year in the Missouri Valley Conference against Creighton.
That was an absolutely fantastic championship
And then what
game
cracked me
against.
up was Pittsburgh's coach at the time. He's coaching, I believe, TCU now.
Mm-hmm.
Cried.
Jamie Dixon.
Cried
Yes.
because he thought Pittsburgh was underseeded and should have had about a 6 or 5 seed.
Mm-hmm.
And then Wichita State went in there and they couldn't even score against that defense.
No, because he cried because he knew he'd lose.
Yeah, right. Indiana State, Northern Iowa, and Southern Illinois. The 3 games in a row in the Valley.
Yeah.
The death knell. This, in this deal.
Yeah.
And
So
then,
that's just a year that nobody ever thought we would have made it to the final.
No, because you guys, you got as far as you did, but prior to that, you're supposed to lose to Olenek and Gonzaga.
Yeah.
Anytime Gonzaga loses, I'm so happy. That's just because of my Arizona bias there in the West Coast ordeal. But anyways.
And then the next year, the undefeated year, we get seeded up with 7-seeded, underseeded Kentucky, who should have been a 3 or 4 seed.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which defeated a Kansas State team, by the way, because K-State was seeded either 8th or 9th, one of the two, and they beat Kansas State, and arguably a lot of pundits said that's probably one of the best college basketball tournament games ever, that Kentucky-Wichita State game. And that's a situation where, why are we playing Kentucky in the second round? Why are you going to put Kentucky as an 8th seed and we're a 1 seed? That's straight disrespect.
Yeah,
exactly.
Sure was.
Well, and then even in 2000, God, when was it? Landry Shamet was here. Was it 2008, 17? It was the year after we got beat to Actually, no, sorry. 2017 we got beat to Marshall. 2016, whatever year Landry Shamet was here, we got paired up with Kentucky again.
Yes, you're right. It was 2000. It was the 16-17 season.
Yeah.
And we were a 10th or 7th seed, I believe, that season. Of course, beat Dayton and then played another great game against Kentucky. The thing about it is, I love Shamet, but you had Connor Frankham wide open in the corner, and then he shoots it and it gets blocked. But, hindsight is 20/20.
Well, and let's all forget, Landry Shamet did that shot fake, and if he would have went right back up, he would have got 3 free throws, but it was a freshman mistake.
Yeah.
I think a veteran player at the time would have shot that and took got the foul. But, hey, It is what it is. You can't go back. You can't change the past.
Who's your Final Four picks for this year?
Oh, God, it's so hard to tell right now.
Mhm.
You can't really
COVID,
evaluate teams. Yeah.
COVID, Baylor, and Gonzaga. How's that?
But here's my deal. You can't tell who's going to get COVID, who's going to have to forfeit. You can't tell who's going to get COVID before the tournament starts and who's going to replace that team.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just like a day-by-day, it makes me wonder how many brackets are going to be busted that first day.
First week.
That first day or first week.
Yep.
Because somebody's going to have to forfeit. It's like –
You know what's going to happen at least once.
Yeah.
Once or twice, it's going to happen.
And it's going to happen. It's going to happen to a team that hasn't got COVID all year, and then bam, it's going to hit them come tournament time.
Exactly.
Yeah. Here's a question for y'all. Didn't the NCAA come out a little bit ago? We're talking 5 days ago that they said there will be no team replacements.
Once the tournament starts,
Okay.
there will be no replacements.
Okay.
Before, I think Aaron and I talked about this in the last video, that if a team has not played their first tournament game, the conference commissioner has a chance to choice to get a replacement.
Okay.
Yeah, and that team would get the same seed. So, say Houston got in, Wichita State didn't. If Houston was to get COVID, and the AAC happened to pick Wichita State over Penny Hardaway, then Wichita State would still get that 3 or 4 seed, whatever Houston is.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean,
it'll be interesting.
Looking at this bracketology, we talked about this, Aaron. Why is KU a 3 seed?
Because they went on a 5-game winning streak, and 4 of those were against Iowa State and Kansas State.
Woohoo! We beat Iowa State and Kansas State.
That's like
Woo!
Wichita
he'll
State
tell
beating
you.
Evansville.
He'll tell you that it's because they beat Baylor. But honestly, I think Baylor would have lost to whoever they were playing.
Oh yeah,
Just
they
based
barely
on
beat Iowa State 3 days before.
Yeah.
Iowa State's
So
horrific.
yeah, but you get. See, it's interesting. Is Baylor a Final Four team? Yes, but Scott Drew is their coach.
Hey, here's a
Right.
good
I'm just
question.
saying.
Here is a good question for the Big 12 commissioner.
What?
If any of those 7 teams were to get COVID, would you put TCU, K State, or Iowa State in there as a 4 or 5 seed? Like,
Well, first off,
who would you
K-State should never
pick?
be asked. K-State should never be asked because they lost to Fort Hays State. You might as well
Iowa
ask
State
Fort
didn't-
Hays
Iowa
man.
State didn't even win a Big 12 game. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah, I bet you the commissioners like praying every night, please
No,
don't get
I
COVID.
bet
to
you
those
whatever
17.
12, 13, or 14 seeds are playing a Big 12 team that they hope that team gets COVID, and that way they get a chance to play TCU, K State, or Iowa State.
Right, exactly. So as we speak, as we shoot this video right now, big time Big Ten game going on right now with 4th-ranked Illinois and 2nd-ranked Michigan right now.
What's
Yeah.
that score?
Illinois'
It's 45-29 early in the second half.
Illinois' big guy is out too, I believe.
Right.
Really? How are they even in that game?
Right. Good question. I don't know.
They lost their best player, and now they lost their best big man. And that big man's a beast.
Exactly.
Mhm.
I don't know. I'm not thrilled with the Big 10 at all. I'm just not. I think Michigan State's overrated. I think Michigan is, the only true legit coming out of there, but who knows how real they are.
Yeah.
Right.
Who else is in there?
I was at number 5. I was always
See,
at
I'm
Big
not.
12 teams and
See,
the
I'm not
Ohio
thrilled with
State
Iowa.
Buckeyes.
Yeah, and I'm not
Wisconsin-
thrilled with that. Sorry, Armand, go.
Oh no, Wisconsin's ranked 25th, 10-8, and 16-9. They
Mm-hmm.
are 6th in the Big Ten, just a game ahead of 500. My boy, always be my boy, Maryland Terrapins, Mark Turgeon.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And you have
Yeah.
Michigan State, who's on the bubble, 7-10 in conference, and of course we talked about Minnesota, 6-12 in conference.
And they're still on the bubble as
12.
12 or 13.
Right.
Yeah.
6-12. Are you kidding me? 6-12 in conference is a bubble team?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
God, please.
Exactly. Yeah, no, I'm not thrilled with the Big 10 at all. I don't, other than Michigan, I don't believe anybody else has a chance. And 6-12 conference play and you're on the bubble, that's ridiculous.
That's
You
a
know.
joke.
It is a joke. And
it shames the teams that, from these little conferences who go 14-1 in a regular season, get upset in their conference tournament and get sent to the NIT, while a 6-10 Big 5 conference school gets a 10 seed. Just be straight honest with that.
Exactly.
yeah. No, it just doesn't make any sense. I mean, throw in NJIT, throw in some of these
Absolutely.
other small schools.
Give me
Exactly.
some Liberty Flames up in here. Give me the UMBC Riveters.
Yep. Or
Alabama,
IUPUI,
Vermont.
man.
The Bonnies.
Yep, the Bonnies,
Dude.
IUPUI.
Hey, let's not
Eastern
forget Gardner Webb
Washington.
last year. Gardner Webb almost knocked off Virginia 2 years ago, actually. Sorry.
Oh, that's true. Yep.
That was a close. That would have been 2 years in a row for Virginia.
Yes, it would have been, yes.
I'm
Give
sorry.
props to Winthrop right now, 17-1, 21-1 overall.
Yeah. And not even.
James Madison Dukes.
Mhm.
Yeah. I want to
Oh,
give
it
a
makes-
shout out. I want to give a shout out to the Missouri Valley football SIU defeating #1 North Dakota State. not even defeating them. I mean, putting a beat down.
They
Yeah.
whipped that ass. They
Yeah.
whipped that ass. And of
Yeah.
course, when I saw that, I was reminded, at the FD Division One AA
Yeah.
is playing spring football. That's a nice little bonus football. Hey,
Hey,
beats the
yeah.
XFL.
Yeah, no AAF, so hey, you know.
Exactly. But the XFL will be coming back next year with The Rock taking
Yeah.
ownership over it. So we'll see about that.
All right.
Of course, the AAF provides great starting quarterbacks for the Dallas Cowboys, Adam.
Yeah. It looks like we are going to have to reschedule for Kayron Bradley. Some technical difficulties tonight. I guess he was in his car. He couldn't get to come on in his car, so we'll have to pick a night. It might possibly be Thursday or possibly Friday night before we can get him on. So
That's
sorry,
all right.
fans,
That's all right.
for getting your hopes up, but hey, it happens sometimes.
You get to listen to us talk sports and all that good stuff.
Exactly.
Hey, props to Wichita State baseball.
Yeah.
Shutting out Oral
Or you.
Roberts today, 3-0.
5 pitchers threw a 3-hit shutout.
Yes. I know in past history, going to Oral Roberts has been Wichita State's kryptonite.
And we've won 5 in a row now against
Yeah,
ORU.
good. Yes. Good.
Mhm.
Good.
Getting ready for that showdown with Arizona.
A couple weeks. Too bad we
I
can't
know.
travel. Too bad we can't travel to Tucson to go watch it.
I know.
Oh,
It's so exciting, though.
That will be absolutely very nice.
Hey, if
you
that
could.
game's on ESPN, we need to have a watch party.
Exactly. I'm
Mhm.
up for it.
It's on ESPN3 or something.
You're
Mhm.
welcome to my house, man. Shoot.
Yeah.
I got a TV in the garage.
There you go.
So again,
Nice.
Shocker fans, again, if you didn't watch the beginning of the show and fast forwarded, tried to get to K-Ron, Shocker fans play tomorrow night at Tulane. They also have a game Saturday at home against USF. AAC made it happen. So it's not a big team, but hey, you play who you play. So again, sorry
That's all
about
you can
sorry about the misunderstanding with Kayron Bradley. We'll hope to have him on this week and talk some TBT and Shocker basketball in his career. So go ahead and like the video. I know we talked a lot of sports again, like we usually do, Wichita State basketball, and there's the Taylor Heineke jersey, the
The
legend.
legend of Taylor Heineke.
Go
Taylor Heineke,
give him a Heineken.
Washington football team, starting quarterback. You're not getting Deshaun Watson. You're not getting Russell Wilson. And for damn sure, you're not giving no little BS about let's sign Cam Newton. Let's sign Fitzgerald. Let's get RG3 back. Oh, that's all I hear from these stupid Washington football team fans. Let's re-sign Alfred Morris.
Exactly.
Really? I didn't know Alfred Morris was still in the league until
I didn't either. Isn't that guy like 50?
Exactly. We played the Giants and Alfred Morris was in there. I'm like, oh, he's still in the league? Oh, okay. Yeah, let's take him back. Really?
Exactly.
Come on, man.
So
That's a whole other video I could probably shoot myself on some of these dang on Washington football team fans, this fan base. I'm like, be realistic for God's sakes.
exactly.
Let's straight our whole defensive line for Deshaun Watson.
No, thank you.
Exactly.
So
Dumbass.
all right.
Anyway.
It's not that hard to hit the subscribe button down below, the red button, and also comment if you have any comments. And like I said, hopefully we'll be back later this week with Kayron Bradley. Thank you.
Go Shockers.